All right, welcome to another live stream episode. And today we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I know that everybody watching on YouTube, it looks regular. Everybody watching me on vertical, on TikTok, you're going to see double, almost like me close up, and then another shot of me a little bit wider. And I'm doing that because today I'm talking about uh, professional corporate lighting. All right. And a 4 point setup that anyone can do. Low budget, doesn't have to, you don't have to break the bank or anything. It's just easy, clean corporate lighting no matter where you go. Okay. And I'm going to use the setup that I have today. Okay. So, corporate lighting, specifically when you're doing a corporate client or any type of client, especially interviews, it isn't about making someone look cinematic. It's about making them look trustworthy, clear, and overall professional. All right. Bad lighting doesn't look amateur. Doesn't Let me start that again. Bad lighting doesn't just look amateur. It subconsciously tells viewers this brand didn't care about showing you this video. All right. So I'm going to show you a 4 point light setup used and what I use mostly in my corporate interviews and how you can recreate it without breaking the bank. All right. So lighting in itself is brand perception, not decoration. So just remember that you're not decorating all these things. It's about actually showing the audience how to perceive what they're watching. All right. So I'm going to give you guys practical stuff. So just bear with me. Um, Corporate lighting just has one job, and it's clarity and confidence. All right. Faces should feel open, readable. So you should be able to see the person's face. Shadows or anywhere you see darkness should feel intentional. So they're put there on purpose. And separation from background creates depth. All right. And that's what we're going to do with the lighting, especially on the latter parts of it. So we're not trying to be dramatic. We're trying to be believable in where we're at. Right. So let's build this setup one light at a time. All right. So without further ado, I have my trusty sidekick helping me out, and you'll see her in the background doing her thing. Okay. So we're going to start with the foundation, which is the key light. Okay. Trusty sidekick, can you go ahead and turn the lights off? We'll start with the one in the back and just turn it off. That one over there. And then we're going to start from 0. Okay. And you can turn this one off right here. And then we're going to go and turn that one off over there. The back light over there. And what I usually like to do specifically and you could actually go over there on that side. Actually, yeah, go on that side over there. All right. So whenever I go into anywhere, I want to start with 0 lighting, start from dark like it is, just like this. Well, obviously without this one in your face or anywhere lighting the subject. I like to start from 0 so I could build and shape it however I want. And then afterwards, if I like something, I'll keep it if it's whatever the lighting is there. But for demonstration purposes, completely dark, right? Depending on the camera settings. And we're going to start with the key light, which I would argue is, and some would argue is the most important light. Okay. It's your main light, and it defines the face, as you can see. So I like to place it 30 to 45 degrees from the subject, slightly above eye level. So it's not directly here. It's a little bit coming in this way. That's why you can see that shadow. And then you want to aim it down towards the face. And the reason why you want to do that is because it adds natural contour to it. It avoids the flat lighting as opposed to just, those usual lights that you see ahead or up top. And it creates dimensionality, all right? And that's what you get when you see how it's 45 degrees. So it's like right here on this side and leaving this side dark, all right? And that's dimensionality. And your key light doesn't have to be something fancy. It could be a super soft LED, a lamp with some kind of diffusion, so it's not heavy. It's too strong, and it doesn't create any like harsh shadows. And even a window works, depending on the time of day and where it's placed. So if your key light is wrong, this one right here, your first light, the foundation, nothing else matters. All right. So we're gonna move right along, and we're gonna go for the fill light, and it's this one right here. All right. And the fill light softens the shadows. So there was a shadow in my face, right? And it doesn't erase them, right? So you do want to create, if you want to create that kind of dramatic, cinematic feel, and you want some shadows to it, you still want some kind of control over it, because if you go to post and it's too dark or there's no light there, it's going to create too much of a contrast. And you don't want those that extra, that noisy, that grainy footage on the dark side. So you want to fill it up, right? So this fill light, it's not too strong, definitely not as strong as the key light, as you can tell, right? But we can't, I don't want to have this too dark, but I want it darker than this, so still create that shadow. All right. Place on the opposite side of the key, obviously. So this key's right here. Fill light is right here. Lower intensity, as you can see, this one's a little bit brighter. This one's a little darker, or not as bright. And then bounce light also works really great. So I actually have a light here, but you could essentially use a whiteboard to bounce the key light or any light into this part of the face, so it doesn't create, or you can have it lit, and it's obviously not going to be as powerful as a key light, but it's still light that side. And just remember, corporate lighting should look clean and not super contrast heavy, right? So again, dramatic, cinematic, but not too dramatic, because this isn't a movie about any romance or any Blade Runner, right? You still want them to look super, you want them to look lit, but you want them to look professional. Not, by contrast, I mean not too bright here, not too dark here. All right. You can use a white foam board for this. You don't have to have another light. A reflector, like I was talking about, or a wall bounce, depending on what color you have. Most favorably would be white, so it could bounce the light, right? So fill light is shadow control, not shadow removal. Remember, you want to have control over it, not remove it completely. All right, now we're gonna do the hair light, and since I don't have any hair, it's gonna be a backlight, right? So we're gonna turn on this one right here, trusty helper. All right, and that's the hair light or backlight. It separates your subject, in this case me, from the background. All right. So what you want to have this is, can you turn it off one more time and just to see the difference? Right, and then turn it on again. Excellent. And it actually pronounces the fill light even more to have that shadow. And if you don't want it to, if it's too dark, you could always brighten it up a little bit more and have it just like that. But you just want to have some control over it. You want to place behind, ideally above. I don't have any hair, so and I didn't choose a subject with hair, so I didn't place it above, because it's just going to be the shiny spot right here. So I placed it in the back, so you could see that. Aim it at the shoulders and the head. As you can see, it's right here. See, I'm blocking it right there. And keep it subtle. You don't want it too harsh. You don't want it too bright. You don't want it to overpower anything else, especially not the key light. And this is what makes someone look broadcast ready, right? Kind of beginning to have that separation start to build. And you could do this with a small LED, a clamp light that you clamp it somewhere. That could be hanging, desk lamp with a little bit of diffusion. Sometimes they'll have that, kind of over it, like a lampshade. So yeah, hair light is what turns flat into the professional. We're starting to create that separation now. All right, now we're gonna do the background light, which is the environment, kind of lights up the environment and creates depth, right? So we're gonna turn on that back one over there. All right, it's coming up. Go ahead, turn it on. The other side. Technical difficulties. Go ahead, turn it. Turn it on again. On that side, nothing. No. All right. Hold on one second. All right, there we go. So actually, let's go ahead and turn it off again, like I showed you. No, not this one. Leave that on. Turn the other one off. Turn it on again. All right, excellent. So that's the background light, and that light gives context without any distraction. All right, you want to light the walls like we're doing right here, and if it had some uh, art, or maybe there was a bookshelf. Sometimes I'll film in an office. Um, you want to light those things, those objects, those textures in the background. And you want to avoid the hot spots, so nothing too direct. And what it does is that creates visual layers. So as you're looking at me, let me see, what can do you, oh, cam do you use, bro? Oh, this is getting a question off of TikTok. This cam, this one is just a ZV-E10, so it's just a vlogging point and shoot that I use as a webcam. But if I'm gonna shoot these corporate videos, what I'll do is I'll actually use like if I'm not going too high end, depending on the budget, I'll use an FX3, FX30 as a B cam, and those are fantastic. You're not breaking any budgets with that, and you're keeping in budget and also getting a high quality output. So yeah, that's one of the things right there. And I'm actually going to give an extra light. So those are 3 lights that we're using. Well, those are 4-point lights. So we have the key light, the fill light, hair light, aka backlight, and then the background light. So as you can see, just by lighting that, can you turn that background light off again? The one in the back. All right. So you see right there, there's just like one dimension. Well, maybe 2 because of the hair light or the backlight. But then if we turn that on, turn that backlight on again. On the other side. On the other side of it. All the way on the other side. Yeah. That's the, like, how it turns the clicks all the way on that side. There we go. And we click that one. It automatically becomes 3D because now you see other parts of the image. So I'm lit, the subject. Now that back one is lit, and now it's that depth. You could see it. Now, if you had a bigger room, usually most of these corporate offices are, they'll look kind of, you'll see more depth. But the more things you light within it with intention, the better it'll be. It creates that depth. All right, now we're gonna do an extra light. And again, for the background light, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I'm using a super cheap newer LED panel to light that one up. You can use practical lamps, an actual lamp, or something that was there in the office. LED strips, as you can see, some of these gamers do that. That's how they light their background, or any accent light. So Death makes corporate lighting feel premium. It gives you that, and these concepts could be used to any type of lighting. All right. So now we're going to do this bonus lighting, right? And this is a practical light, kind of explaining that lamp. All right. So this would be technically a 5th one. So we're going to go and light that one up over there on that side. You'll see my trusty sidekick go across the bed and help me with that light. There we go. Excellent. All right. So what does that do? And why do I like to light that one up? Right. And before I kind of finish up with this. So what that does is that it's a practical light, right? And if in offices or wherever, you could go right there. You go right here on this side right here. That's my daughter right there. All right. So what it does is that it creates, these are called practical lights. So technically the key light is lighting me up right here, right? But since let's say you didn't know that, I didn't explain that to you, this practical light right here subconsciously you're going to think that that's the part that's lighting this side of my face, right? And then you're going to think that that background light right there is lighting this side of my being the hair light, but it's not. It's the background light. And that's what a practical light does. It creates that kind of like subtle subconscious tell that that's lighting this side of my face or that side of my face, but it's not. It's completely different. And that's what you'll see in a lot of movies. See a lot of directors like Roger Deakins, which is one of my favorites, actually use this in practically his whole lighting setup, but obviously it's in a different level. Yeah, so you'll see that happen as that. And I like to use it like that because it becomes practical right there. Boom. And obviously you can use this concept to light anything, but when you're using it in these as for clients or corporate offices, you could do it this way. Or if you just want to do it yourself, you could do it like that. And remember, this is the whole point. It's not to break the bank with anything, no crazy LED lights. So you don't need crazy cinema gear, just, placement and intention of where you're doing it. This is for that. That background is for the background. This light is for this. This light is for that, right? So intention. So just remember, direction is better than the brightness of the light. The balance of it is way better than the power of the light. And subtlety is way better than actual drama. Remember? So subtlety with those practical lights. So most bad lighting isn't underpowered. It's not because of how many watts it has. It's just misdirected. It lacks that intention, that guidance. So professional lighting is about decisions, not dollars. All right. So you could do this anywhere, even if you're just filming on your phone. All right. So I'm just going to finish it with this. Super simple, super easy. When you build this setup, 4-point light, go in this order. Okay. So key light shapes the face. The fill light softens the shadows. And look, this is super dramatic, or you just want to soften the shadows a bit. Give it that context right there, right? The hair light, or in my case, the backlight, it adds separation. So I'm separated from the background, and then the background adds depth. It creates that illusion that it's a bigger room. There's something else there, right? So just remember those 4 things. And obviously, if you want to use my bonus one, number 5, the practical light right there. It could be any lamp, something that you have in your house, LED strip, whatever. All right. So thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions, if you have used this type of lighting, or you have any other suggestions or anything like that, or if you've used this lighting or will use this lighting, let me know. Send me your content. And even if you're just you're just a content creator, lone wolf by yourself, you can still use this and make everything look professional. All right. So thank you for watching. You guys are awesome, and stay tuned for my